Hello, I'm Judy, the organizer and creator at Rescue My Space. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. So today's video is a little different because I'm going to be telling you things you should not get rid of moving forward compared to things you should get rid of, which is something that I'm pretty used to saying. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Oh, before we continue, make sure you like this video. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe below and also join my Patreon, and there you'll be able to see behind the scenes videos, some extra vlogs, and also preparations on my show. So when it comes to clutter in the home, I'm usually someone who suggests to get rid of your items, especially if they serve no purpose, they have no value, they are just clutter in your home, and you no longer want them or need them. But there are some items in your home I suggest you hold on to. And the first one I suggest is your DVDs and or your VHSs. I wonder how many of you guys have VHS tapes in your home right now. Let me know in the comment section below if you do. But I would suggest that you hold on to these items because you never know what would happen if these platforms that we watch or where we watch our movies would go kaput. What if they just randomly decided to go bankrupt or no longer wanted us to have access to their content? If that happened, we would have nothing. So with that said, holding on to your DVDs and your VHS tapes allows you to have control of it, and you get to watch what you want to watch, at least what you have. So instead of keeping them in an area that's most visible, like around your TV or in your entertainment center, I would suggest that you store them away. When it comes to organizing your space and removing clutter out of your visible space, storing these items properly is the best way to go. I suggest you store them in a storage box. This is going to keep away moisture, keep away critters, and also prevent them from damaging over time. The thing is, a lot of times these things do damage, especially if you're not using them, but using a proper storage box will keep them secure and safe. Also, I'd suggest storing them vertically, not horizontally, vertically, to keep them from scratching and damaging them. Store them away somewhere, your basement, your attic, your garage, and let them sit there safely so that if anything ever happened, you still have access to movies. This is the same with number 2, which is your CDs or your tapes or your records. Hold on to them. Don't get rid of them. Store them away in a tote, in some kind of acid-free box. Store them away, but do not get rid of them. I might sound like a pessimist, but you just never know what could happen to these platforms where we listen to music. You never know. So rather than being out of luck, if anything ever happened, you have yours stored away. So number 3 are the players for these items. So a CD player, a DVD player, a Blu-ray player, a VHR, all of those items, you also need to hold on to those. So just store them away with your CDs, your DVDs, and your tapes, and let them sit safely. So number 4 are books. Books. I love books. Trust me, I love to read books on a Kindle or even listen to books. But again, you never know. So rather than getting rid of them or throwing them away or donating them to charity, you can keep them. Store them away out of sight in an area that you frequent the least, but don't throw them away. I have gotten rid of a lot of these items that I'm mentioning, and I regret getting rid of them, not just for myself, but for my clients. So the next thing you should no longer throw away are photos. Having your photos digital is great because if you were to lose your physical photos, then you have them digitally, but you don't get rid of those physical photos. You store them in some type of acid-free box, store them in the proper storage system, and put them away. You can also store them in a photo album. The photo album can be part of your home decor, but do not get rid of that physical photo. If you're just tired of holding on to your physical photos, maybe giving them to a family member who might appreciate having them would be ideal, but do not throw them away. Don't throw them away. I know it's tempting, but don't do it, or take them somewhere and let those companies hold on to them. There's so many companies that hold on to old, historic, physical paperwork, documents, photos. You can give it to them, pay some type of like monthly fee and have them hold it, but do not throw them away. All right, so this next one, my husband may be surprised that I'm even mentioning it, but do not get rid of boxes to electronic devices. So basically boxes for your TVs, your computers, really any type of electronic device, even like appliances, if you can. Of course, the really large ones, I mean, they're just, no, sometimes you just can't store them anywhere. But if you can, try to store them. Just break them down, store them somewhere, maybe fold them, put them in a box or a tote or something, but don't throw them away in the case you want to return it. There's just something about returning them in its original box that just makes them more returnable. Let's say you even missed the return time frame. I have returned something in its original box and they actually accepted it. So try as much as you can to hold on to it. If you just cannot because the box is obnoxious, then I get it. Get rid of it. So the next item are receipts. Try to hold on to them within the time frame. If you have 90 days to return an item, hold on to that receipt for 90 days. What we do in our home is we put the receipts in a Ziploc bag and we put it on the fridge. We just have a magnet on that Ziploc bag. And if for whatever reason we need to return something, we go into that Ziploc bag. It has made keeping up with receipts a lot easier, especially for home items. That's it. Take them out of your purse. So the next item are certain documents. There are a few documents, actually more than a few documents that we should possibly hold on to forever. And those are birth certificates, social security cards, marriage certificates, adoption documents, death certificates, passports, wills, living wills, power of attorneys, marital record, legal filings, retirement and pension plans. If you do have these documents in your possession, I would suggest either putting them in a safe or just putting them in some type of filing system, but holding on to them because you don't ever want a situation where you need these items and you don't have them, and that prevents you from moving on to the next step. Rather than having them in separate areas, put them together, put them away, and protect them. The next item on my list is probably my favorite one on this list, and those are heirlooms. In the past, I would be like, get rid of the heirlooms. You don't need it. It was passed down to you and you don't need to hold on to it. Trust me, I get it. I get it. If you're not using it, I understand why you don't want it. I understand, but heirlooms are so priceless. I'm someone who loves vintage finds and they go for a pretty penny. And there are some heirlooms that I had growing up that I wish I still had, but I got rid of them because I was like, it doesn't go with anything. And now as I'm living in my home and decorating it, I'm finding that there's some pieces that I had in the past that I wish I would have held on to. If you have heirlooms, try to incorporate it into your home. Maybe try to change it up a bit, do a DIY, but try not to get rid of it. If you must sell it, definitely sell it for a good penny. But if you're willing to hold on to it, try to hold on to it. They're just so valuable to me. I have a few pieces in my home that I've had made, and I plan on them being heirlooms for my offsprings. Hopefully they do hold on to it. But if they don't, I understand. But still, if you can, try to hold on to it because they have so much history. And, you know, history already is being torn away from us. So to have something that just reminds you of where you came from, I think is priceless. This is how the dress goes. And it keeps on changing. So I'm gonna be messing with it. So sorry. So the next item on my list are sentimental items. I know these are items that usually an organizer would tell you, get rid of it. Sentimental, why? Why are there so many emotions when it comes to this item? The memories here. I still believe that, but there are some items that are just so sentimental that you just can't get rid of. And if you can't, don't get rid of it. Put it in a box, put it somewhere, cherish it, hold on to it. Don't throw it away just because we told you to. For some of us, I know sentimental items are everything in our homes. I'm not saying that. I'm saying those really precious items in your home that ignite emotion, strong emotion, that reminds you of someone, remind you of a time in your life. If it doesn't go with your home or fit within the organization of your home, put it in a box, put it in the bin, put it in a container, and just put it away. Store it in a space that's not visible to you, that you frequent the least, but I wouldn't suggest you get rid of it. So the last but not least item you should not get rid of, if you don't have to, is your storage unit. So in the past, I've done ads about storage units, and I still am an advocate for having a storage unit. Yes, if you need it, have it. Minimize it. Don't have 3 storage units. A lot of times we don't need 3. I think 1 is enough, a good size one. There's so many sizes when it comes to storage units. Having a really large one or a really small one works. But if you have a storage unit and the items that sit in it are sentimental or just very important items, then yes, keep the storage unit. If you're willing to pay that fee every month, keep the storage unit. You don't have to get rid of it. Just be mindful of what is inside of it. A lot of times there are things in our storage units that have no value, that we don't even care for or even know still exists. Then I would suggest, yes, get rid of those items. And if you get rid of those items and your storage unit is empty, then get rid of the storage unit. But if you get rid of those items and you still have valuable items in your storage unit or items that you will be using in the future, then yes, keep the storage unit. Hold on to the storage unit. Don't get rid of the storage unit. I understand the value of storage units and why they're needed. So I get it. So I've mentioned this a few times in the video, to store your items properly. Outside of decluttering, I think storage is so important because that's what gets the clutter out of your visible space and puts them on something, especially for those items that you don't want to get rid of or you shouldn't get rid of. There's so many storage solutions out there that are specified for certain items like your DVDs, your CDs, your photos, your important items. But storing them properly is what's going to have them last the longest compared to just having them sit around your space. So hopefully this video helped you in some capacity. It really helps me as I'm helping others organize their space, because now I don't tell people to throw everything away. I do understand there are a few items that we should be holding on to, and I'm gonna keep being an advocate for that. You know, I've turned a new leaf, guys. I don't tell you to get rid of everything, even though I think you should get rid of clutter, especially shit. All right, so you already know what time it is. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And thank you so very much for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back and cry.